Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to automate your meeting invite and reminder process using n8n, which is a super powerful no-code automation tool. Now, if you're someone who has been receiving leads, say from your booking page on your website, or you send across a form and your lead has filled the form and selected a particular time slot and a date for a meeting, or there is a case wherein your team does cold calls, aligns meetings, and then sends the invites manually to your leads and even the reminders, then this tutorial will save you hours of time every single week. So what we want to do is we want to build a simple yet powerful workflow that looks something like this. Wherein the first step that we have is to create a trigger. Now your trigger can be either a form that you create. So n8n offers this option of creating a web form using their platform itself, or you can integrate other forms like this Google form, Typeform, or your CRM as well. In this case, what we have done is we have used their own web form. So as soon as I have that as a trigger or as a start point, what it asks me is one, what is the title? So I've added the title, and what are the different fields that I'm looking for. So that includes, say, the company name, the first name, last name, the designation, the person's email ID, so that I can actually send them the email, their meeting date and time preferences. So this is all the elements that I would want to cover. And when I actually execute this step, what happens is there's a form that gets opened and there's a test form that I can use. So I can input this and then I'll get an output that looks something like this, wherein I'll be getting these details over here in a schema or in a table format for me to view and me to understand whether I can test it out or not. Now, there are two things I would want to cover over here. One is what we saw right now was the test URL. When you actually want to initiate this, you need to click on the production URL, copy this URL, and then send it out to your customers so that they can then fill it, and this all can happen on a real-time basis through a complete automation cycle. Now this is done. We have had the data collected and a trigger is sorted. What is the next thing that we want to do? The next thing that we would want to do is send them an invite and an email. So I can simply add a step over here and add Gmail as an option, wherein when I actually want to send a message, first I'll add my Gmail account, which I've already added. Then I want to send a message. So it will ask me whom do I want to send a message to. So all I have to do is just simply drag and drop the email ID from my form submission over here. Next is the subject line. So over here I wanted customize in what terms, that I want to write, say, meeting invite, then the company name dash my company name. So this gives a context and it's a proper title to a meeting invite. Lastly is the message. So in the message itself, I have say hi, the first name that I've drag dropped from the form submission responses. And then I've simply typed in a simple message that thank you so much for connecting. And as discussed, this is the meeting invite. So this is my simple meeting invite email that I've created using that particular integration. Now when we talk about the next step, so my email gets sent. But what if I want to log or keep a track whether this particular automation or up till now these two steps are working well or not? So what I'm going to do is that I have created a Google Sheet over here to capture those responses and to also capture whether that particular message or email has been sent or not. Now over here, that while we are continuously adding different steps to the entire process, it becomes very much important for you to ensure that you are saving your particular project or your flow time to time so as to not lose out on any particular step. Once this is done, let's quickly move on to adding the Google Sheet. Now, if you see over here, when I'm typing for Google Sheet over here as a step, so there are multiple options that I get. There is create spreadsheet, append or update row in the sheet, append row in the sheet. So what is the option that we would want to go with is we don't want to create a sheet. We have already, say for example, created a sheet and we just want the records to be added and updated over here. So I'll click on append row in sheet. Append means that it adds on and creates a new row with all the data that we are looking at. Now when I actually add it, the first thing that I'm going to do over here is select which is the sheet that I want to update in. So the Google Sheet that I've created over here is the meeting list. So I'll select that from the drop down. Further, I'll select in that particular spreadsheet which is the tab that I want to work on or which is the list that I want to work on. So it is sheet 1, so that's where I'm working. And finally what happens is that once that is done, it will show over here what are the column headers that are currently available on that Google Sheet. Once that is done, my job is to ensure that every single field that I want updated on that Google Sheet should be mapped over here. And it's very simple to do it. All I have to do is just simply drag and drop that particular field that I'm looking to add. And once that is done, if you see, the last thing that I want is whether the invite was sent or not. So for that, if you see, there are two sections over here. We have the on form submission inputs and the send a message inputs. So in send a message, it does send the message, but what sort of output variables or input variables that we are getting over here include, say, the ID, the thread ID, the label ID. And over here, finally, if you can see over here, there is the send. So this is the label ID that we require as an input to give us an idea that yes, the mail was sent. And finally, we have our Google Sheet also updated that yes, this particular person has filled the form and the invite was sent. So this gives me visibility as a salesperson or someone who's actually looking after these leads or will be conducting those meetings that yeah, the automation is working well and I don't need to worry about sending a invite again. Next comes, let's say the invite are sent, but what takes majority of the time for salespeople is the reminders. And we often have to remind 1 day before, 2 days before, 1 hour before a meeting that, hello sir or ma'am, we have a meeting. Please can you confirm if you'll be joining? Or this is a quick reminder that we have a meeting at this particular time and date. So looking forward to connecting. Now this often takes up a lot of time for salespeople who would want to reach out to other new leads and then generate meetings. And hence, say this is also a very crucial part for us to automate, wherein we are taking those reminders and follow-ups, but it is getting automated somewhere or other. So my next step over here is that I would want to say send a reminder to that particular person 2 hours before or 3 hours before my meeting. So what I can do is that I'll put in the wait function over here. So when you click on adding an element, when you type wait, what does wait mean is that it pauses that particular execution in the entire workflow up till a certain point. So when I actually am clicking on it, what am I getting as an option over here that at what time do I want to resume that entire flow? The reason why I need to put this is if I directly say connect the Google Sheet with the next mail, then what's going to happen is that the mail gets sent immediately if I activate the workflow. But in this case, it takes a pause and sends that email at that particular time. So over here, I wanted to be at a specified time. Now, as you can see, there is a simple code that's written over here, but this is again not something that I wrote. I took help of n8n's AI to write this. Now, what I have as an input over here is one, I have the meeting date and time. But I don't know what is the sort of input that I can paste over here. So always what I would recommend is ensure that you're taking n8n AI's help by simply asking that give me the expression for date and time from the form submission. And that should be 2 hours before the time of the meeting that is mentioned. So as you can see over here, what it has done is it is giving me an example over here as well, that if my meeting time is 11 o'clock, then it has taken it as 9 o'clock. So that shows that this particular code is also working. So understand one thing over here, that when we talk about automation, there is some part of code that gets involved. But as people who don't know how to code, the best bet that we have is to use AI. And when we use AI, we do have to try and test many times, but eventually we succeed. So in this case, say this particular code has worked. So the next thing, that after this particular wait, when it resumes execution, I would want to send a reminder email. So I'll quickly have that node created. And as you can see over here, once that node is created, again, I will simply add in the custom fields that I'm looking for. Now I have added that and I have written here's a quick reminder for the meeting, and that is it. So this way I'm able to create a complete start to end flow that can be automated right from a lead or a salesperson putting in the details that, okay, I need to send an invite to this person, to automating that entire process of sending invites, ensuring that we have an updated data set where we know that the invite is sent, and taking multiple reminders. Now, this might look like a very simple workflow, but this can be expanded to even factors like if the person has replied, then don't send an email, or send 3 reminders, one reminder 2 hours before the meeting, one reminder one day before the meeting. So, this is how you can create or make this particular workflow more robust. So, that's about it. That's about how you can automate this entire workflow. And I hope this helps your team reduce the manual labor that goes behind follow ups and ensuring that there are lower missed meetings by having these timely reminders taken. So, if you found this useful, please hit the like and subscribe to our channel. I'll be sharing more such real world cases of how can we use n8n to simplify our day to day tasks in the upcoming weeks. And thank you so much for watching this video.